Invasion Free State is a fast-paced urban combat game for 2 to 4 players, pitting desperate resistance fighters against invading aliens. Sounds good. Let's have a look. So here we have the front cover. It's very nice and bright. I think it captures the sense of this sort of urban combat really well. We've got some freedom fighters here and a dead alien. He's not looking good at all. Flipping over onto the back. Again, it's very nice and bright. There's a bit of flavour text here. They might look alien to us, but they bleed. Believe me, I've seen it. I was sent here to tell you that all over the world people are arming themselves against the alien threat. You must do your part here in Maryland. We're few, but we can win this war as long as we're united. And I think you get a sense there of the vibe of the game and very much the reason I've picked it up, which is that it reminds me a lot of XCOM. That idea of close quarters, urban conflict with small teams trying to outmaneuver each other, that sounds like a lot of fun. So let's open the box and see what we've got inside. It says here 14 plus in terms of suitable age, 2 to 4 players, 55 minutes. That's oddly specific. I wonder why it isn't an hour. There we go. Very nice, satisfying sound. The box is fine. It's not particularly thick, but robust enough. First thing we've got in here, it says, sadly, the 2 Ripper character boards were incorrectly cut and need to be replaced. Replace the trashed boards with Ripper boards on the small punch board 5. Do not trash the car nor the wall breach tokens. Okay, so there's obviously been some sort of error in the printing of the game, and there's a little note there. So anybody picking this up, I can't imagine you would miss that, but that's definitely important to pay attention to. So the first thing we've got here, got some card. Say about 1.5 mil, sturdy enough, not especially sturdy though. Origin System Chimeric Cyborg Background Information. Okay, Rippers. Rippers are bioengineered organisms designed for terror operations. Okay. Presumably that's stats for some of the creatures in the game. Now this is very useful. What goes where? That's nice. I'm sure we've all unpacked board games at certain times and then not been able to put them all back together again. So that's very useful. I'll keep hold of that. Okay, here we have the boards. Now there's 9 of these according to the fluff on the back. The artwork is quite nice, reasonably crisp. You can certainly see the iconography is quite clear here. I don't know what any of this means at this point, but I'm guessing this is some sort of blocking wall. The red is very noticeable. Got some grass there. The colours are a little bit faded. It's not as vibrant as it might be, but that might be an artistic choice. They might want to go for that sort of vibe of a run-down kind of urban battlefield. You've got the inside of some buildings there. Yep, another kind of garden. That's a larger building. I can't see a huge variation between the 2 sides. It might be that the icons are different. It does appear to be the same. I wonder what the difference is there then. Maybe it's to do with alignment when you put the boards together. Inside another building, perhaps a warehouse or something like that. We've got, it might be a building actually. It looks like these are washing machines. Okay, yes, there's a nice spread of those. You get the idea. Okay, mixture of inside and outside. There we go. Got some dice, custom dice. I'm always a fan of custom dice. They make things a lot easier than having to do a bit of maths. Got a skull, and it looks like a barbed wire symbol. Okay, this one here has got shields on it, and a spiky shield. I don't know if that's a critical hit or something. Multiple skulls. Okay, I'll put those back in the bag and put them to one side for now. Then we've got these little stands, and one, I don't know if that's escaped from the bag or been added afterwards. Plenty more card here. Okay, so this looks like it might be the stats for the aliens. Yeah, they're good. So if I lift that up a little bit, you can probably see the artwork a bit more clearly. It's nice. A scary alien, I'd say. The teeth are pretty frightening, and it does remind me a little bit of something like XCOM. If I go through these, they just pop off. Oh, okay. So that looks like some sort of human that's been taken over by the aliens. You can see the cybernetics kind of woven into their flesh. That's quite sinister, really. I'm not sure that you'd necessarily want young children seeing that. On the back, definite gribbly alien there, complete with tentacles. He looks pretty cool, actually. It says here some of their abilities: smoke shot, scythe, species, scythe, gorgon, cutter gorgon. So certainly a range of aliens. That's promising. Tentacles. This is a hydromorph. Okay, yeah, they're pretty cool. And we can also see some of the characters that you play in the game, presumably. Yumi Perryman, occupation TSA supervisor. I guess she's had to leave all that behind to fight the aliens. See her there with a sniper rifle. Got some baggies. It's always a nice touch. You don't want things just flopping around inside the box. Okay, a line of sight. So it's not a ruler. It doesn't have measurements on it, but line of sight. Okay. And now we come to the rule book. You can see here the thickness of it. Not going to be a huge read, which I think is good. I think these days there are so many games out there that the days of people dedicating themselves to a single board game and reading through reams and reams of rules so they can play it, I think those days are largely gone. Most of us play lots of different games these days, so I think the rules have to be slick. You have to be able to absorb them reasonably quickly. So a rule book of this size, I think, is pretty good. Glancing through, there's lots of photos. That should be nice examples of how to play. I'll have a look at this later on and give you a little bit of feedback, tell you what I think of it. It's one of the characters there, got a nice shotgun. Shotguns are always fun. Okay, another base. So this looks like the freedom fighters now. So we've got Anna Maria Romo. She's pretty well kitted out. In fact, she says she's a law enforcement officer, so she's presumably got some tactical training. Got a car mechanic guy down here, Cody Fink, with a machine gun. Very cool. Yeah, and the character boards are two-sided, so it's got some background information for the characters on the back as well. That's nice. You can sort of get into the character a little bit. Pete Holquin, he was a high school teacher, now he's got a shotgun. Amy Lewin, civil engineer, grenade launcher. Okay, just pop the aliens off there. Okay, so I think that's 8, if I've counted that correctly. I think that's 8 characters, which again is a nice sort of range. Let's just take those dice out there. There we go. We've got another book here, the mission book. Okay. So mission book. Again, I quite like the art style. It's somewhat comic-y, which XCOM again, that sort of vibe. Nice and bright. Yeah, it's nicely put together. See the design there. Oh, a dog. Okay, I wonder if you get him as a kind of ally. That's quite fun. Yeah, okay, I'll have a look through that in more detail. We've still got quite a lot of cardboard here. They have packed stuff in. It was quite a heavy box when I lifted it. Another line of sight ruler. Reinforcements. These are going to be your standees. I'll pop these out shortly, let you see how they look. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what those are for at the moment. I can see a dog though. Excellent, it does look like you get a dog. And some instructions here as well as to how to store things in the game. I think that's a great idea. Storage for games these days is often so good now. Yeah, I think they're part of the storage solution. More aliens. Okay, these guys look like they skitter along the ground, sort of a face hugger vibe. There's a car. that could be quite interesting in some of the missions. Have to see how that works. Okay, and some tokens here. Molotov cocktail, frag grenade. If you're a freedom fighter, don't leave home without it. Satchel charge, smoke grenade, all good. More standees. Okay, yeah, that's good. I like this one. Those are pretty fearsome looking. What I'll do then is I'll assemble some of this and we'll see how it looks. I just wanted to clarify how the replacement parts work for the game. You can see here the Ripper board that comes as one of the replacements. The originals, the problem is that they were cut incorrectly so that this doesn't fold over this way. It's designed to go that way, which is the wrong way. But that's easy. There's replacements there, so those will go in the bin and we don't have a problem. You can see here that I've assembled 4 of the boards following the instructions in the mission book for a tutorial that just walks you through the game at the start. If you used all 9, it's obviously going to be a bit bigger, and this frame that you can see around the edge would fit around all 9 of the boards. If I just pop this ruler down here, this is 2 feet, 60 centimetres, and you can see that the frame is a little larger than that, which gives you an idea of how much space you would need to set up the game. You can see here one of the character boards. Now I've popped this out of the cardboard frame and then there's grooves cut into it like so, and it's designed to fold. You can see that this just clicks in there, and over here we've got another one that clicks in like so, and that's quite nice. You get this little sketch of the character and then essentially a screen that hides some of the other information about them. I think that's quite a nice design. You can see here there's some instructions as to how to slot together these pieces of card, which then fit inside the bottom of the box like so, and provide the storage solution that's explained here on this sheet. It's no game trays. You know, there are certainly better storage solutions in games, but I certainly appreciate the fact that the manufacturers have tried to make sure that things will fit away again neatly. Here you can see the standees for the aliens. You've got 5 different types of aliens, but obviously some of those are different. Those guys in the top right-hand corner that look a bit like they've met the Borg, they've got different sorts of weapons and so on, and these gribbly guys at the bottom, again, different guns. So you've got a reasonable variation there. Here are the human standees. There's 7 of those, all quite distinctive, quite different. You've also got this dog. I like him as a sort of ally that we can include in the game, and a beaten up truck. That's going to be very useful for getting around, I'm quite sure. I have mixed views on standees. They're obviously not going to have the same dramatic impact on the board as the beautiful models that you can get from companies like Come On and so on these days. But at the same time, to make the most of those types of games, you have to invest quite a lot of time painting them. There is something quite nice, quite old school, I guess, about standees. The artwork's perfectly nice, and you can just punch these out, put them on the bases, and you're good to go. I quite like that. I've set the board up for the tutorial mission, which, as I mentioned, only uses 4 of the 9 boards. You can see that we have 2 resistance fighters and 2 alien invaders, and the tutorial makes it very clear where each of those models begin, and also the actions that they're going to take during the first round of combat. As you go through that script, the rules of the game are explained to you. Each round of the game is divided up into 3 phases: the tactics phase, the activation phase, and the upkeep phase. Now, during the tactics phase, players will secretly choose initiative markers and assign them to each of their characters. For the tutorial, this character, John, is assigned initiative token 3, which means he will act 3rd in the round. You also assign 2 action tokens, and for him the first one is assigned to walk and the second one is assigned to attack. Now when it's his turn to act, that will determine what he does. He will first of all have a move action and then he will get a chance to attack. The character with the lowest initiative token is Gale, number 1. The freedom fighters always have the odd numbered initiative tokens and the alien invaders have the even numbered ones. That means that you'll switch between the 2 sides as you work your way through the round. Gale's 2 action tokens are here. Number 1 is placed on interact and number 2 is on walk. What that means is her first action and interact is going to be to climb over this hedge and into the street. Her second action is to move. Now she has 3 walk, And she goes 1, 2, 3, and into the house. At the end of a move action, a character always has the option of moving into cover. And where Gail has gone into the house, that means that she can just move forward to there, covering up this little icon with the 2 shields. Now that represents heavy cover, and that's a much safer place for her to end her move. The next character to act is the alien Gaunt, who has initiative marker 2. You can see that his actions, number 1 is an attack and number 2 is a move. Now he starts the game here, but before you take any attack action, you have the option to move into cover. So he would move forward to there. That allows him to count this red dot here as his line of sight point. So he can measure from there to this one here, which is where his target is. He's trying to shoot Gale. If we pop down the ruler there, you can see that a straight line is uninterrupted, so he has line of sight. We can also check range. A range of up to 4, that's only 1 square away, so that's absolutely fine. So he would roll to attack, which is 2 orange dice, and however many skulls he rolls, he would add 1 to the result. Now Gale, thankfully, is in cover there. We can see the 2 little yellow shields. That means that however many hits are scored, 2 will be taken away from the total, which is just as well, because Gale only has 2 health. So you can see the game is quite deadly, and if you don't move into cover, you're certainly going to be taken out quite quickly. After the Gaunt has activated and done its first action, its second one is move, and the scripted first encounter tells us that he goes 1, 2, 3, and into this room, moving into light cover there with just 1 shield. Having unboxed Invasion Free State, had a look at the components and read through the rulebook, a number of things have struck me. Firstly, it's a nice looking game. It's not AAA, it's not the kind of razzmatazz that you can get on a huge Kickstarter, but it's a nicely produced game. It comes in a smaller box and it's considerably more affordable. It's pretty good looking. What I really like though is the rules about deploying your actions at the start of the round in secret. I think that's so clever. So many games, war games and board games, 2 actions per character, that's very, very standard. But by doing them in secret, it adds a whole new layer of complexity. You're starting to guess, what's my opponent going to do? And if your character is in a good position, you have cover, you're thinking to yourself, well, do I want to lose that cover and move forward? What if my opponent keeps his forces where they are and simply shoots at me? So it becomes a much more tactical game where you won't just charge forward towards each other, but you'll be trying to outflank, lay down covering fire. There's also rules for Overwatch and so on. So I do think that the rule system is clever, and that secret assigning of actions at the start of the round, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, I'm keen to play a game of this with my friends. If it's something that you'd like me to film, then please let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you again soon. Until then, keep rolling.